martial arts, everyone's going to go on a journey. Now, in that journey, you have the Q ranks and the Dan ranks. As you go through your Q ranks and Dan ranks, or whatever that is, your martial arts training, I'm sure you guys have all heard there are millions, what's that word? What's the old saying? There are millions of ways to the top of the mountain, right? You choose your own journey. That is absolutely true. So what we're going to do is I'm going to paint a picture here. So here's your mountain, right? So we got this little spot here, right? So here's your mountain. I'm going to get closer on the camera so the camera can see what I'm talking about today. There we go. So here's the mountain. And on this mountain, you guys are at the very bottom. So I'm going to put a little X. See that? Very good. Now, there are so many different ways. You guys, we're going to talk about this way, and here, right? We'll put little arrows so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, this line right here is going to be Shodan, and that's going to be Godan. So I'm going to put first here and fifth here. All right, so let's look at this little diagram here. So what we have is you're going to be standing on this mountain, and your goal in the martial arts is to get to the top of the mountain, right? Now, as you go on this journey, there are many different ways you could do, right? You could get on this particular journey. Your first real step is going to be first degree black belt. Everyone who studies martial arts should want that first degree black belt in whatever martial art they're doing. The next big leap is going to be fifth dan. Fifth dan in Japanese martial arts is a master, right? And I think everyone, if you're a black belt and you continue your training, you should say, I want to be a master. Now, I do want to say real quick, the people who say, there's no such thing as a martial art master, or you don't ever master martial arts. I don't want to call those people stupid, right? But I definitely want to say that the reason martial arts uses those words, it's not to say that you're a master. It's to denote a certain level of knowledge and experience and wisdom in a particular method. Like an example, if I was to go to KU University, which is a university of education, they teach shit, right? And you get a master's of, say, English. Nobody who has a master's in English from Kansas University says, I'm a master of the English language. Like, nobody fucking does that. In the history of ever. What that individual would say is, I have a master's degree in English from Kansas University. Because that master's degree denotes a specific level of skill, knowledge, experience, and wisdom of a particular subject. So the people who are fifth degree black belts, they are masters. That doesn't mean I'm a master of the martial arts. Don't be stupid, everybody. Don't be stupid. It just means you are now at a specific level. You're at what they call the mastery level, right, of a particular martial art at a particular university or a particular school. That's all it is. So if someone's a fifth dan in, say, karate, right, they might say, I am a fifth dan master in Karate Do at the Goju Ryu Dojo on 5th Street or something like that. Do you catch what I'm saying? They're not saying they themselves have mastered something. They're saying that they're at a master level. Do you catch what I'm saying? So you get people who have never attained high rank, and then they try to flip it like, well, I don't like terms, or I don't like titles. Well, then you miss the whole point of the term and the title. That's not what it's for. So if you get wrapped up in terms and titles, then you're training in martial arts for the wrong reason. So, you're at the bottom of here. You've got all this time to get to Shodan. You got all this journey to get to fifth dan, and then from here to here is 10th dan, right? What you guys don't see, I'm use a blue marker here. Maybe some more with the book. Really make it good. Is in the beginning, that isn't an easy run. At the very beginning, you got to do the hard shit. You got to learn how to fight. You got to learn how to face your fears. See all that, all those shrubs and trees and thickets that's right there at the very base? You got to learn all the hard shit. Push-ups, sit-ups, squats, sparring, grappling, face your fears, get punched maybe for the first time, get thrown for the first time. All that shit, right? You got to go through all this thicket, all this mess before you get here. So let's say that this road over here, this one is, let's say this is a student, and he doesn't know whether he wants to study jujutsu, whether he wants to study karate, and let's say the middle one is ninjutsu, what we teach. And then this one over here, let's say, is Aikido, right? And this one over here is like Krav Maga. So we're going to paint this as completely ours. If the person, think about what kind of person would want to, they start here, and let's say they want to study ninjutsu. They go through the thickets, they go through all the shit, the fighting, the sparring, the grappling, learning the various weapons, facing their fears, and they finally get to first degree black belt. And they think that's a great fucking thing. I like ninjutsu, right? So that's this individual here. But what about if that individual went this way first? He goes this way and he goes, I'm going to study jujutsu. He goes to the jujutsu school, he learns throws and grappling, probably got punched for the first time, blah, 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 blah. Gets his first degree black belt and he's like, fuck, I went through hell. I want to fucking do that again. You know what I'm going to do? I know the basics of grappling, because again, you guys, if you don't know what Shodan means initial level. That's it. Shodan is first degree black belt. Anyone who tells you that Shodan is any more than initial level is full of shit. Please go watch my video of what a Shodan is or what a black belt is. Shodan literally means initial level student. It's your first official rank. It means you are now a recognized student of a particular ryuha. That's it. You are not a master. So you're over here, you get a Shodan in Jiu-Jitsu, and it was so difficult, it's even more difficult to go to Nidan, because you have to double down. You need even more dedication and discipline to get a Nidan than you need a Shodan. So what does this guy do? He doesn't get a Nidan in Jiu-Jitsu. He goes down to the bottom, he starts here, and then he restarts a journey to get a rank in Karate. And then he's like, God damn, that was fucking hard. What's he do? He comes down here, he restarts his journey, and now he's right here, and he's like, I'm going to study ninjutsu. He studied here for 2 weeks because he's a total wuss and couldn't hack it, so he quit ninjutsu real quick. And he gets back over here, and then he's on this side, and he's like, I'm going to study, Krav Maga or something, Aikido. And he gets all the way up to Shodan, and gets initial level there. He's like, fuck, and that's hard. He goes back down, and then comes over here. Do you think this individual that gets a Shodan here, falls down, 2 weeks here, can't hack it, falls down, Shodan here, falls down, can't hack it, fall down, like, does this look like a master to you? No. What you want to do is get to the top of that mountain. Martial arts, and I've said this since the very beginning, I want you guys to hear me out on this one, because now I'm going to get a little philosophical. That was a big fuck you to all the first Dan masters out there, but follow me. The martial arts is more than punching and kicking. There's something it is a way of life. But you can't understand it until you understand yourself, understand your fears, face certain fears, overcome certain things. And one of the most, I don't want to say animalistic, but that's not really, the most natural feeling we have is the fear of death, the fear of not being able to protect ourselves. And when you're faced with that constantly, you either fail and fall, go do something else, or you keep going. There's an old saying, right? I think it was Winston Churchill. It was like, when you're going through hell, keep going. Yeah? Now, imagine the person that says he's a master and he's got a first degree black belt in like Taekwondo, Karate, and like Judo. And then you got someone standing right here with a 5th degree. Would you all agree that the person with a 5th degree black belt that's halfway up that mountain has a different perspective of martial arts than the person that's doing this shit all the time? Yeah. Now, the one thing that people don't pay attention to about the mountain, and this is another thing about those first degree black belt masters that I haven't really talked about, because it is kind of a slight to their psychology and their perception of martial arts. Do you notice with a mountain that as the mountain goes up, it actually gets closer at the top? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter which one you choose. As you notice, they naturally come to a point at the top. Because there are way more similarities at the top than there are differences at the bottom. So that people that are ignorant martial artists that keep getting to Shodan, fuck that, Shodan, fuck that, green belt, fuck that, they never understand that because they're looking at it from the wrong perspective. Because as you get closer to the top, it gets tighter. And you see the beauty of something way up here, much different. Now I know a lot of people want to fuck with me and say I'm a hypocrite because I've studied, this one guy says, well, you studied 4 different Kenpos. Well, let me tell you, to the individual who said that, you hateful bastard, I will say you are a hateful bastard, but you are wrong. I studied 5 different Kenpos. How about that? 5. And on top of that, the reason I'm saying this is because I did it with experience. I studied all this shit because I really thought it meant something. And then finally, at the end of my martial art career as an apprentice, I found one particular master that put me under his wing. And he showed me the true way. And then through him, I became the next Grand Master or Soke of an art. Because I gave everything to him. And then he gave everything back. And I got to experience something that was the most beautiful thing with martial arts. That very few people get to experience. Because they're chicken shits. And they keep going up to Shodan and do something different. Up to Shodan, do something different. Shodan is an initial level. That's it. 3 associates don't make them masters. And if you dedicate yourself to something, and you just keep going, no matter what it is. You guys watch on my channel, if you guys are into Kempo, or I don't matter what the hell you're doing, Kempo, Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, Aikido, Kung Fu, Jeet Kune Do, but no matter what it is that you're doing, keep going. Because if you keep hop skipping to doing something else, you'll never get to your destination. You'll never get to where you want to be until you dedicate yourself to something. But if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.